Coming up on Legislative Review, expanding Medicaid coverage for HIV antiviral drugs. Plus, a push to promote more affordable housing options in densely populated areas. You're watching Legislative Review. Welcome and thanks for watching Legislative Review. I'm Angela Nolasco. We start our Friday coverage with a healthcare policy bill debated on the Senate floor. Senate Bill 5577, which has bipartisan support, aims to expand Medicaid coverage for HIV antiviral drugs as part of Washington's broader efforts to eliminate HIV transmission regardless of a patient's income level. The bill proposes to require Medicaid to cover all FDA-approved HIV antiviral drugs without the need for prior authorization or step therapy. This would apply to patients enrolled in both fee-for-service and managed care programs under Washington's Medicaid system, also known as Apple Health. The bill's goal is to ensure that those living with HIV or at risk of contracting it have quick and seamless access to life-saving medication, like Apretude. Apple Health already covers HIV antiviral drugs without prior authorization. The proposed legislation would cement that coverage as a permanent legislated requirement. The bill's prime sponsor, Democratic Senator Marco Lias, believes it would ensure patients have access to medications without unnecessary delays.
This epidemic left millions of lives destroyed, and it led to the advent of these amazing antiviral drugs that today can stop the advance of this disease. Yet despite having life-saving medication that can stop the transmission of HIV, 400 people in Washington still contract HIV every year. They don't have to. By getting more access to these medications, we can end this disease in our state. This bill ensures that language lives not just in the budget, but in state law, that folks will get access to these life-saving drugs. And we can hopefully soon reach the day that we have ended HIV and ended AIDS in Washington. Until we reach that milestone, this legislature has to keep fighting. This takes us one step forward. I commend the bill to you.
The Senate voted on the bill's passage.
Mr. President, there are 48 yeas, 0 nay, 1 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, Senate Bill 5577 is declared passed. The title of the bill will be the title of the act.
With a unanimous vote, the bill passed and is on track to be reviewed in the House of Representatives. If enacted, Senate Bill 5577 will go into effect in July under an emergency clause. The Senate went on to discuss a housing bill that aims to streamline the subdivision process in urban growth areas. Senate Bill 5599 seeks to simplify how land is divided for development, making it easier for cities to approve housing projects. It would require cities and towns that plan under the state's Growth Management Act to adopt formal procedures for unit lot subdivisions by the end of June next year. Unit lot subdivisions allow larger parcels of land to be divided into smaller unit lots, which are commonly used for townhomes and multifamily housing. The bill would set specific guidelines to streamline the approval process for these subdivisions. Under the bill, cities must develop clear procedures that avoid unnecessary public hearings or lengthy reviews. Advocates see it as a way to encourage middle housing development to meet the state's growing need for more affordable housing options in densely populated areas. Supporters like housing developers and industry groups say the bill will simplify land use regulations and help create more homes. They also say it will support infill development by allowing smaller lots to be sold individually while still meeting overall zoning requirements. While there's support for the bill, some organizations like FutureWise and the Association of Washington Cities say there's a need for a model on how local governments could implement it in jurisdictions that have yet to adopt it. The bill's prime sponsor, Democratic Senator Liz Loveland, shared her remarks during final passage.
We are in a housing crisis, and we have done a tremendous amount of work in previous sessions and again in this one to make sure we're creating a wide variety of legalized housing options that match every budget of Washingtonians. I am bringing forward what I think is a fairly important housing supply policy so that future Washingtonians are going to have more opportunities for home ownership without the potential of being sold a junk lot.
Republican Senator Nikki Torres also spoke in favor of the bill.
I agree with the good lady. She did a great job of stakeholdering and working out any concerns in the bill, and also clarified the objective standards to align with the Housing Bill 5613, so I urge a yes vote.
The Senate took a floor vote.
Mr. President, there are 48 yeas, 0 nay, 1 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed Senate Bill 5559 is declared passed. The title of the bill will be the title of the act.
The bill passed unanimously and now heads to the House of Representatives for further discussion. And that's a wrap for this episode of Legislative Review. Join us nightly at 8 and 11 to keep up with what's happening in the legislature.